Welcome to my Dark Academia living room tour. I did not film a makeover video for this room because I decided to focus on my old money bedroom makeover instead. So I just put this one together and I'm about to move again. And I really wanted to share it with you because I thought it turned out really cool. And I know I kind of stick to a very similar vibe, but I figured you guys might be interested in seeing it. Maybe, maybe not. I hope you guys are. To talk a little bit about this living room, it was quite difficult to put together because it's an open layout. I enjoy open layouts, like a loft, for instance. But the thing with this layout is it is very far away from a window and it's very dark back here. This is not a place that I hang out during the day because I will never see the sun. This is a vampire cave over here. So this is my area that I hang out in during the nighttime, and I wanted it to kind of feel like a little library or a reading nook, and that's what I was going for when I was creating this space. So since I already put the entire room together, let's start from far away, and I'm going to show you the outside of the space before bringing you in and kind of explain the reasoning behind doing certain things and the way I set it up and stuff like that. Hi. So this is what the living room looks like from far away. If you see back here, I have these two giant trees and I put them there to kind of give it its own space instead of having this open floor plan that it is. It's almost like a divider and makes it feel like its own room. It's also extremely echoey in here because this living room, you can see all the way up to the second floor and it's like a balcony type situation, so it echoes a lot. Adding trees to the space, not only does it look cool, it creates a divider, but it also fills the space so it doesn't echo as bad, even though it's still echoing pretty bad. And because I wanted this space to kind of feel like a little library hideout, the trees really gave it that vibe for me, and I just love bringing plants into my home, even if it's fake. I know everyone's like against fake plants. I love them. Yeah, so this is where the living room starts and how you enter. So let's start with my favorite thrift find ever, this amazing palm tree. This palm tree is about 8-9 feet tall, and I got it for $12. I know, it's crazy. Something like this brand new in a store would be probably $250. Fake plants normally aren't super cheap. The way that it just kind of spreads out and hides everything on the other side of the room, I love it. As for the placement of this, it is kind of sitting out in the middle of the floor because of the open floor plan. But in my head, because the living room is shaped as a rectangle, this marks the corner of the living room and it marks kind of where it starts. Now, this tree right here, it's not my favorite, but I got this for $10. And it's about 7 feet tall. It's not as tall as the other one. So again, this is kind of placed out in the open, but it marks the opposite side of the living room, and it just creates this boundary of where the living room starts. So let's come into the living room now. Next to my tree, I have the guitar kind of pushed against it. Again, it just kind of gives a corner to the room. On the ground here, I have these beautiful oriental rugs. I got this one from Marshall's. I got this one from Wayfair. This one cost me, I think, $56, and this one was $12. And I do have them overlapping and they are not perfectly symmetrical. I am very much a person that loves an organized clutter, if that makes sense. So it can be cluttered and have a lot of stuff, but as long as it's organized and it looks like it's supposed to look cluttered in a aesthetic way, I'm okay with it. That being said, that's why I have them overlapped like this. I just think it's visually more pleasing, at least to my eye. I don't know about other people. Actually, when I laid it down, my boyfriend said, "Are you gonna fix it?" And I was like, no, that was intentional. I personally like it, and it also makes the space a little bigger, and it makes it expand a little more beyond the trees because of this rug being at an angle. Now, this is a functional living room and it does act as storage as well. So this is my little cabinet with my camera equipment. I only have one camera here, my vlogging camera at the bottom, but normally it's like fully stacked. But yeah, so this just has these simple bins, and They're not cute by any means. They are not aesthetic. They're just functional, but they do have a really pretty DA looking industrial shelf to sit on, which I really like. So this piece of furniture I made from wood. I stained it and I just put it together with some galvanized steel pipes. So I used to make furniture, like industrial steampunk furniture, and this is one of the pieces that I kept for myself. And I also put some heavy duty wheels in the bottom so that way I can move it around. I will eventually invest in some nicer baskets that kind of hide away my equipment instead of you seeing it so easily, but this works for now. As for decor, I have these flowers that I dried out. I have baby's breath, whatever this purple one is, and eucalyptus. All I know is I normally do put this high up because eucalyptus is toxic to not only us, but cats as well. And I do not want my cat to eat it. David, I got from Amazon, and you can put flowers in him as well, but I just absolutely love this little addition. I think he's so beautiful. I don't know what it is about sculptures, but I just love them so much. Now back here, I have my reading light. This is a banker's lamp that I thrifted. I think it was $4 or $6. I got this from my first Dark Academia room makeover, and I have the price there. I just do not remember it. It's been a while, but man, I freaking love this lamp. This beautiful leather suitcase I got from a swap, a trading swap. Is that what it's called? A thrift swap? I forget the name. And I traded some clothes for this. This holds all of my cosplay outfits and my specialty clothing items, although I kind of wear a lot of my specialty clothing items now whenever, so it's not entirely full. It's mostly full of Harry Potter cosplay. The person I got it from though said that the person they got it from wasn't the original owner, and they do not know if these stickers were genuine or if they were added for aesthetic, but regardless, the stickers look so cool, and they're on both sides, and I love this suitcase. I do have some aesthetic books just sitting here on top. Sometimes I will put books I'm currently reading, but given the fact I now have a full-on bookshelf, I kind of keep all my books there, and it's just way more organized. Right here, I do keep my star projector because in this living room, it is open all the way to the second floor. So it projects all the way to the second floor, and it's a really cool vibe for nighttime, and I kind of just tuck it away here. The one downfall of projectors like this is hiding them away and also displaying the light while they're hidden. It's really hard. So I thought that this was the best spot to make sure it was usable, but kind of hidden, even though it's kind of an eyesore. I notice it when I walk in. I don't know if other people notice it, but at nighttime, you appreciate that it's there because you get a starry sky. In this corner, I have my first ever vintage chair. I love it. It was this kid's grandma's chair. I got it for $10 off of OfferUp, such a steal. And this is kind of the chair you sit in if you want to be in this room during the day because it's the only chair that faces, you know, not the wall. And surrounding the chair, I have some fake plants. I don't know why, but I just love the feeling of having a lot of plants surrounding you. I wish I had a bigger plant to kind of stuff in this corner so it would just sprout out everywhere. I don't know, I just kind of like that. But this is what we've got. I've got this fake plant from IKEA, which, I mean, you've seen in every makeover I've ever done because I always have this plant. I also have this one as well, just a single leaf monstera leaf. Is that what it's called? I got this one from Hobby Lobby. I think it was about 15 bucks for one, if I'm not mistaken. They aren't super cheap for one. And then I have it in this, you know, brown, silver, bronze vase. I don't really like the vase, but we're just gonna hide it back here. I absolutely love this wall behind me. I think it's such a vibe, especially with the vines coming through and then the prints here being symmetrical, but also not symmetrical because they are a bit uneven on purpose. For the wall behind me, I actually DIY'd this. I got a book called Art of the Printed Book, 1455 to 1955. And this book contained a bunch of prints from different versions of the Bible, along with some other things too. And it had really pretty historical artwork that's from textbooks. And I thought it was so perfect for DA or even light academia. One night I just got bored and I decided I was gonna attempt to put them on the wall and see how it looked, and it turned out so beautifully. And just the detail of some of these is amazing because it also has the date that it was created and what it's from. So you can learn a lot just by looking at these. I will not be throwing these away. Now I did make each row off-centered and some higher than the other, some lower than the other. And I thought it looked best that way. I think I could have also made it perfectly symmetrical and squared and it would have still looked great. But in my opinion, the off-centered look is just giving more. That's just what I personally like. Now moving on to this side of the room. Leading into my little gallery wall is a bunch of vines. I did add the vines first, but the reason I ended up adding the vines is because I put this amazing bookshelf here and it just looked way too plain with a white wall, and in my head I thought it would be really cool to make it feel as if it was a part of a forest and the forest was blooming around it, and that's how the vines coming out from the back came into play. Pretty much the entire living room was designed surrounding this bookshelf. Little pro tip about vines. I know I've done a video doing vines before, but in case you haven't seen that one, highly recommend that instead of just kind of throwing them and letting them hang off of each other, tape them down to the wall in a specific design. If you look at actual vines, that is how they grow. Over here we have my industrial standing lamp, and I got this off of OfferUp for $20. I ended up finding it on Amazon for I think around 200 and something, so I really lucked out. It was in perfect condition. They just didn't want it anymore. And I also got some vintage light bulbs with it as well, which was super cool. Another cool thing about this lamp is the fact that the shade is caged. So when the lights are on at night, it just gives off these really cool shadows throughout the room. And I don't know what it is about the shadows, but I just love the way it looks and the way it makes the room feel. I have a sword that I keep in the corner by the bookshelf. This is my little fantasy part of the room, even though it's hidden away, but it's still there. It would look so nice right here, but since I'm moving, I'm not going to do that. But nonetheless, super cool little fantasy ode. Kind of into sword spinning at the moment and trying to learn how to do it properly. And it's a neat little thing to display. It kind of looks like a piece of treasure. I wish it was real, but this does the trick. This bookshelf I thrifted. I got it from Facebook Marketplace for $20. I didn't realize how much space books took up until I got a bookshelf and I realized my books weren't everywhere. If you're thinking about getting one, highly recommend it. And I see them on Facebook Marketplace for free all the time. So on top of my bookshelf, I have my Apollo bust. And I got this one from Burlington Coat Factory for $14. They do have them on Amazon as well though, same size and everything, just might be a little more expensive. This candelabra I also got from Amazon, and the candlesticks I got from the thrift store for 25 cents a piece. And I just love the way the red looks. It gives a little bit of color and it's kind of haunting. These plants right here, I have two IKEA plants in here that are, I think they're $6 or $7 a piece. They still have them. It's like one of the plants they always sell. And then I have another plant that's kind of just sitting up top that I got from Hobby Lobby. There was no pot to it, so they gave it to me for, I think, 75 cents. Yeah, the reason I don't have them in a pot is because I don't know where I put my pots when I moved. So I just kind of stacked them like this, and you can't even tell it's not in a pot. It looks fine. And then I also have my candle holder, which I got from the thrift store for, I think it was like 50 cents. And I have a candle taper in it. No, I do not light this here. It would literally burn down my bookshelf. You guys will be very surprised to see that all my books, you can see the spines of them because normally I flip them. But having a bookshelf, I have to see all of my spines. I'm sorry. Like when my books were kind of laying everywhere, it was okay for me to not see my spines all the time. But now that I have this organized bookshelf, I want to see the titles of everything, even if the colors don't match. I know a lot of people hated the fact that I would flip my books, but I don't know what it is, but when I have a bookshelf, I just can't do it. I don't have a TV because we move a lot. It's just way easier to carry this tiny thing and project it on any wall. And that's how we watch movies and play games. But obviously it's an eyesore standing on a tripod in the middle of the living room. So what I did was I decorated the entire tripod with vines. So that's the way I kind of tried to camouflage it in my space. And behind it is a bunch of vines that I have put on the wall, and it does kind of give the appearance that the vines have just kind of grown on this tripod, and there's a floating projector. That's my hope anyways. Now, these chairs are my pride and joy. I got 2 of them off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. They were in mint condition, perfect. And I was so lucky to find them because I've wanted old looking Victorian type chairs in this color specifically. I do have a throw blanket as well that I thrifted from the Goodwill bins. I think it matches the vibe of the room really well, the color scheme, and it kind of goes with the Oriental rugs. So I just kind of throw that over the chair. And because it's 100% wool, it's actually pretty warm, even though it's thin looking. Over here, I've got this thrifted lamp that I got for, I think it was either $6 or $9. Let me see. I don't have the tag on it anymore, but unfortunately it did somehow break. There are 3 lights under here and only one of them turns on. And I'm so sad because I just think it's gorgeous. The gold is, it's not like that cheap looking gold. It looks like a worn gold. I don't know how to explain that. I also did break the lampshade too because it's very old and the plastic has dry rotted. And I think the fact that it's a little broken looks really cool with the light turned on because you can see where there are some holes that have been created from it cracking. And then lastly, on top of this, I just have a single candle. I have a book page from the book Jack and Jill, and I also have a Jungle Cruise map that I burnt. And yeah, so that's what this looks like. We do use this, and we put drinks here and food, so I don't want to clutter this up too much. This table I got for $10. It was a very light walnut colored wood and I just thought it was very ugly, so I did paint it. I painted it with a gallon of paint that I got for $8 from the sale section. I do like the fact that it's the one piece of furniture in the room that is a standalone piece, meaning it doesn't fit the color scheme and it kind of sticks out. I do like that for some weird reason. Even though I feel that this living room is technically dark academia, I wouldn't say that every piece of furniture has to be super dark to achieve that. And on top of it, I have a chess set up, and this also gives the vibe of a DA living room and it matches the color scheme, and we do like to play, so it's nice to have it here. Down here, I just have my 2 art sets that come in these wood boxes, which happen to fit my color scheme. So I have them on display naturally. This one is a gaming set. It's a backgammon, and I store all of my prints in there, book pages, stuff like that, that I like to put on my wall. On top, I have this LED lantern that I got from the Halloween section years ago on sale. I got it for 50% off the day after Halloween. It was $12. I also have a fake plant from IKEA sitting here, just to kind of tie in the green from the rest of the room, along with a journal I got from Amazon. It was a gift, but they do have them on Amazon. And the whole point of this section even being here is mostly to cover up the outlets in the back, just because I have nothing else to do it. Now moving on to my favorite piece of furniture in this entire room, and it is this suitcase dresser. This is handmade. Someone put a bunch of suitcases together, and I've always wanted one because of Harry Potter. They always stack the suitcases at the end of the bed or next to the bed, and I was like, okay, I need that in my life. So now I finally have one. I got this from Facebook Marketplace for $32. This is a stereophonic record player on top. It's empty, so you could use that as storage, but I actually am going to be getting rid of this and getting another suitcase like this one to stack, because I think it'll give more of the Harry Potter suitcase appearance that I was really going for. And I did DIY this a bit. I painted the bottom one. It was bright yellow. I removed the fabric from these. I do plan on also making them a little off-centered so that way it's not perfectly stacked. And then I do have the other pink chair facing the wall. It faces the bookshelf, and like I said, this is more of a place to hang out at night, not the daytime, so it's okay that it's facing the wall. And because my projector projects on the wall that the camera is by, right now I just kind of flip this chair facing the wall, so that way it's easier to use if I'm watching a movie. So that is it for my Dark Academia living room tour. Hopefully you guys liked it. Even though you didn't get to see me actually put it together, I think showing it still gives you the idea of the whole design, and hopefully I explained the reasoning behind doing certain things well. But if I didn't and I missed anything, feel free to ask me any questions you have below. And if you want to see my actual Dark Academia room makeovers, I will be sure to link them below and put some cards here. And I guess that's it for this video. So I will see you guys in the next one.